so fine. I really wanna make you mine. Sit back and let's unwind, and we can take a bottle of some wine. Ooh. So are you down to rock with me? Cause girl, you fly just like my G. And I need to know. Are you really down for anything? 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 So fine, I really wanna make you mine. Sit back and let's unwind, and we can take a bottle of some wine. Ooh. So are you down to rock with me? Cause girl, you fly just like my G. And I need to know. Are you really down for anything? 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 Are you really down for anything?
That's Keepin.
He made the decision to play Thiago. But Klopp doesn't change the system since Buvac left. You don't want to change from the 4-3-3.
Are you really down for anything? Are you really down for anything? Listen, we're down for anything, man. Liverpool are down for anything. And shout out to John with a new tune, because he's coming with that fire. I mean, it's the end of summer, but you know what I'm saying? I mean, I heard it, I listened to it, I loved it, and I said the lyrics actually make sense. Currently, Liverpool are down for anything, man. We're down for anything. You know, shout out to obviously Jermaine in the building. John Henry coming to London to snitch as opposed to work on deals. Nice day out in London for him, I suppose. Still no word of any midfielder. In that time, we've gone from agreeing deals with 2 players and seeing those 2 players head off to Chelsea. It looks like one of them confirmed. The other one, it's just a matter of time at this point. We're finished, man. We're finished. So obviously, of course, the massive question is that we've got on our hands now, right now, is what do we do next? What do LFC do next? Who do LFC target next? It seems as though we've ran through all options. All viable options are gone. It's embarrassing. We're having to reignite certain links and certain deals because we weren't able to get our kind of primary targets over the line. It's really upsetting. It's really worrying. Frustrating. I know a lot of us are frustrated at the situation. But look, the only thing we can do, and especially when I'm sitting in front of this camera, is to go and just chop it up and look in depth and just check out some of these players and see what they're saying, man. Have a revisit. Maybe get re-gassed about them. Not in the same way, because bear in mind, I'm never dropping any bars ever again. I'm not listening to Ornstein or Fabrizio Romano ever again. Sky Sports seems to be your best bet. You know, with Sky Sports, once they come with that news, 9 times out of 10, it's accurate and it's factual, and that's what we're going to have to be, man. But before we get into it, people, please make sure that we are smashing a like on the video. Does help the channel grow. Of course, everyone knows the motto. We're trying to get to 100 million subscribers. The only way we can do that is if you're liking the video, because I know you guys are loving the content. Of course you are. You're here with me, rocking with me every single day. But we need to get that content out there, man. We need to get that content out there. And I've got a different fire in my belly this season, man. So we're going to make sure that we're popping, and I need to bring you guys with me as well. On top of that as well, people, before I get into obviously the comments, obviously if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And we know now that I made it aware, we've got the membership. The membership is now open, and I'm telling you, it's something that like you're not gonna regret at all. I'm talking about, I mean, when the time is right, I'm gonna drop some, some secret clips here and there of what we've been doing in the summer, myself and G. We've been heavily active trying to make sure that we can get pro players, ex-pro players, semi-pro players to come and chat to you about ball, chat to you about different stories about how they came up, how they grew up, the academy system, links with Liverpool, certain players and stuff. So it's going to be a massive thing, man. Also having merch coming across, and look, it's going to be great merch. It's not going to be, of course, there might be some Jerry James show merch, but it's going to be merch that you can just rock on it every day as well. That's to do with Liverpool and football in general. So if you want early access to that, please make sure we're getting. Obviously, the membership is much and hugely appreciated. Let's now get into you guys in the building as always. We've got K-Mac in it early. Big up to K-Mac. We've got Albie Frank saying, will the likes be used in the transfer budget? Listen, at this moment in time, all I can do is do that, bro. Is give my likes to Liverpool and hope that, Liverpool can use those likes to convert that into some monetary or capital that we can, that we can use in the future. But yeah, facts, man. We got Alexander, they lost in the building. Big up. We got El Hero as well saying Kone and Andre is good value. We got Captain Sal. We got the main man, John the II in the building. Still repping, that authentic Liverpool jersey in the DP. But I'm not sure whether that's even accurate now. I don't know whether we should be doing that. But shout out to John. John's obviously the man behind the music. So if you want to get some more music for him, make sure we're checking out his YouTube channel, please. We've got Sultan in the building saying we are finished as an institution. We've got Voice of Reason in the building saying, look, we've overestimated our current pool under Klopp. No reason why Germany's best manager shouldn't be able to convince Kimmich to join. Kimmich, Amrabat, Inacio, and we're somewhat good to go. Look, we're going to have to chop up 100%, man. We've got Tahir Qureshi in the building also. We've got Thunder Road. We got Simba in the building. We got RJ as well, making sure he's pushing the lights as always. We got 70 people in the building, proper early on at 2:30, 1:40. You guys are really rocking with me, so please make sure that all of you guys in the chat are liking, motivating the other guys, the new people that are new to the channel to like as well. We're going to get into it, man. We're going to get into it. The first one that we're going to obviously talk about is Thuram, man. Khephren Thuram. Huge reports, especially from Neil Jones, stating that Liverpool are interested in looking at Khephren Thuram. Khephren Thuram being the French midfielder, son of obviously football legend Lilian Thuram, Arsenal legend Lilian Thuram, and the brother of Thuram that actually plays for Inter Milan, I believe now, if I'm correct. I believe he moved to Inter Milan. But need to make sure it's that, or was it Inter Milan or Juventus? One of them. Anyway, Thuram, a player that Liverpool have been linked with since the beginning of the summer, since before then, looked as though that was going to be a deal that was going to be made, especially in that number 8 position. But for some reason, whether it is down to his price tag of being around 50 to 60 million euros, Liverpool not willing to go ahead with that deal. And it seemed as though the deal really stalled. We're having to revisit it now because, he's a player that Liverpool have looked at, they've done the groundwork on, and we know what we're getting for him. And I think that's going to be the theme for Liverpool right now and for the last couple of weeks or 3 weeks from 3 weeks from from the end of the transfer window. We've got a player now there that we've done the groundwork on, and we're going to have to revisit all those old links because we haven't got time to go start scouting new players. We've left ourselves in the mud, and that's what we're going to have to go and do, man. A lot of you guys are saying, obviously, Thuram is what we need, and he's a great addition, I think. Look, standing at 6'3", 6'4", very tall, athletic, powerful, decent on the ball, very versatile as well in the midfield. Has played further forward last season for Nice, also been able to play in a deep role for Nice as well. So very good player. And I think the best thing that we can do as a team right now, and I'm talking about us, I mean us as a team, is why not look at the stats and compare him to the likes of a Lavia that we were really, really interested in and see how he marks up. Now, yes, he has played in the 8 for the majority of last season, and it does seem as though he's going to be playing in the 8 for Nice this season, albeit, do you know what I mean, there's only been a couple of games or one game or so. But I did want to go and have a look. How would he match up in that midfield? How would he look in the DM role? I mean, he certainly has the profile to go and play as a defensive midfielder. He's taller. He's very good in the tackle, can recover really well, can play in the 8 also, is a progressive ball carrier. So I think it's definitely, I mean, it's definitely something we can have a look at. So that's what we're going to do straight away. I was going to have a look and see what you guys are saying now off the bat. Big up to Red Scout TV. Hope you're doing well. The Hawklord, big up to Hawklord, saying the reason why we didn't push for Thuram earlier was because his wage demand was way over what Liverpool would pay him. Maybe so, but unfortunately, we're going to have to go in now because everything's going to be way over now. Lavia was going to be way over than we wanted. I mean, we were quoted 50 million. We ended up having to hit 60. Caicedo, we went with 111 million to 115 million with add-ons. All these players are overpriced, and we're gonna have to go and either pay or overpay on the package, or overpay on the wages, or overpay on both. And that's the situation that we're in, and it's a horrible situation to be in. But unfortunately, this is where Klopp, FSG, George Schmacker have left themselves this summer. So 100%. James saying, look, just get Thuram and Kone. We don't have time to mess around. RJ saying DM for City, Rodri, Phillips. Partey and Rice for Arsenal, Man United, Casemiro, McTominay, Newcastle, Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali, Crystal, Chelsea, Caicedo and Lavia, Spurs, Bissouma and Højbjerg, LFC. Yeah, interesting, man. Interesting. Elias saying Thuram is still in Nice. Yes, he is in Nice. Yes, he is in Nice. His brother, the striker. What's his name? Not Khephren, not Lilian. I want to say Kevin Thuram. That's just a bit mad, isn't it? But anyway, his brother, the one that played for Mönchengladbach last season, or a couple of seasons ago. I think he played for Juventus or Inter Milan, but I'll have a look at that later on. We've got Sam Max as well in the building. Big up to Sam Max. We've got LFC Aaron as well. Simba saying, look, you need to talk about Klopp having too much power at the club. Listen, we're going to get into that, man. We're definitely going to get into that. But I can't just, if I do that now, you know, people are waiting to cancel me, man. People are waiting to cancel me. There we go. Marcus Thuram. Jesus, when I was saying Marcus, that is giving me, yeah, anyway. Marcus Thuram. There we go. Matt Kelsey saying, look, will Thuram want to sign for us now that we left him in the dust? I'm not too sure about Thuram. Like, this is what it is. We're interested in FC. Shout out to Anfield Road End. But yeah, let's just go have a look now. And the stats are already ready here for you guys. So I've prepped. You know what I mean? We've done the homework. Let me zoom in here. Hopefully you guys can see this, and you guys can. So amazing. So what I've done, people, is I've done the stats, and these stats are averaged out per 90. Because Khephren Thuram's played more games, a lot of the stats were in favor of Khephren Thuram. So you're talking about a lot of the defensive stats that we're going to be looking at. I've changed it into per 90 so we can actually average it out and see how these players play. We have to remember also, and we're caveating this by saying Khephren Thuram played as an advanced 8 last season for Nice for the majority of the season. Therefore, there are certain stats that Lavia will have excelled in, but we're actually going to see by how much. And I think it's really, really good to go and have a look. I'm also going to do the same with Kone and potential Liverpool target now. And one of Brighton's main targets to take over the Caicedo role in De Zerbi's midfield. But we're going to get into that. I'm not going to mention his name yet. If you guys know, you guys know. So yeah, as we're seeing here, as mentioned, Khephren Thuram's played more games. He played 35 games last season to Lavia's 29. Obviously, we're doing this, that's per 90, so it's going to look like they've played per 90. Goals per game or per 90 is about 0.1. So very similar in terms of goals. As we're seeing here, though, per 90, Khephren Thuram creating way more chances. Per 90, it does seem as though Lavia, creating 0.7 chances isn't looking the best. We're looking at passes attempted, and Khephren Thuram, a similar amount of passes, still in the 40 range. Khephren Thuram closer to that 50 mark as we're seeing here with 46.6 passes per 90 in comparison to Lavia's 40 per 90. Through balls attempted level on 0.3. This is where it gets really, really interesting. And I want to go and explain this. So Khephren Thuram is playing more or less 11 passes forward, or 10.9 forward passes per 90. Lavia's playing 11.4. So Lavia's stats are better than Khephren Thuram's in this instance. However, we have to remember, when you're a more advanced midfielder, you're more likely to pass the ball backwards or sideways because you haven't got as many options going further forward. It's like a goalkeeper's always going to make loads of forward passes because all the options are in front. It's very rare that a keeper's going to start to play, do you know what I mean, backwards, and sideways happens at times, but still a lot of the time it is forward. As we're seeing here, and this is emphasized by it, Khephren Thuram backward passes at 10.4 to Lavia's 6.3 down here, as we can go and see. Sideways passes, quite similar again, but more passes for Khephren Thuram. So actually what we're seeing is that Khephren Thuram's actually getting on the ball more than per 90, you know, more backwards passes, more sideways passes. Forward passes, more or less similar. You know, you're talking about 11 to 11 or 10.9 to 11.4. It's not that big of a difference. That's really, really interesting to go and see. We're seeing here in regards to take on success, and this is where obviously Lavia really, really thrives in his game. His take on success is 70, or more or less 70%. So when he's running at someone, 70% of the time he's going to take his man on, and that is his forte. When we're looking at Lavia, the reason why I really, really liked him was his ability to get on the ball and drive forward with the ball. If anyone watched, our game against Chelsea, which a lot of us did, we saw the amount of times Khephren and Soboslai had time to run at the defence, right, or drive out with the ball. We go back to looking at yesterday's game with Wolves and, against Wolves versus United at obviously Old Trafford. Kone, Matheus Nunes had a lot of joy bringing the ball up, carrying the ball. And I think that's going to be a massive, massive feature of Liverpool's game. Hence why we've got these types of players. Looking at ground duels contested, again, Lavia's winning in that department with 9.7 to Khephren Thuram's 8.1. But still not too far off. So if we were to even look at maybe converting, or perhaps converting a Khephren Thuram to a DM, those stats, in my opinion, will definitely improve. Ground duels won here, 4.1 to 5.6. And then we're looking here, clearances, 1 each or so, or 1.1 for Khephren Thuram and 1 for Lavia. Interceptions, we're looking at 1.4 each per game, so very similar. And then our blocks per 90, you're talking about half a block per 90. So again, it's very, very similar stats for players that played in 2 different positions. And I think that is definitely an issue, an area of the midfield that we can go and look at. Of course, they're a different profile of player, but right now beggars can't be choosers, and Liverpool, in my opinion, need to go and attack the market like very, very strong and get the targets that they wanted. And look, if we were to end up with a Khephren Thuram, I think I'd be really happy with that. Albeit it's come around in a roundabout way, and it's taken so long to get these deals over the line. Now that we've got these players, we can only focus on having the players. And look, it's been a terrible window, and it will end up being a terrible window no matter what we do. We can only move forward from this way. And I think this is the way we can get out of the mud and just start to move forward, because right now we're stuck in the mud. I really want to know what you guys are saying in regards to obviously these players here. I'm going to have a look and see what you guys are saying before we move on to obviously looking at Kone and seeing how Kone matches up with obviously Lavia as well. Where the comments, there we go. Red Scout TV saying, I'd get to Ram. Andre, 40 million release clause, and a centre-back, Jerry. Inacio release clause met. Yeah, we'll see. RJ saying, we're in a position where Klopp has been forced to take more responsibility because of that vacuum. There isn't that Wedwards figure that was perhaps ready to say no to Klopp at times. That's by Hongenstein. Maybe so. RJ going on to say, I think this is from obviously Hongenstein as well, saying, I think Jurgen Klopp likes the fact that there is no one telling him what to do or what not to do. At the same time, I think he could do with a bit more help. I agree with that a lot, man. I agree with that a lot. Barca for life. Big up to Barca for life saying, how much will Thuram cost now that Liverpool have shown their bank balance? That's the massive issue. I mean, when we're looking at Liverpool right now, that's the biggest issue, because we've shown our hand, nothing, it doesn't stop. Of course, look, at the end of the day, a Nice, whoever we were to go and target, they've got their own financial kind of targets, and they've got their own kind of agendas when it comes to what they'll sell a player for, what they believe is value for money. So that's fine. Nothing stops these teams now saying, oh, look, we want 70 or 80 million and putting 20 million or 15 to 20 million more on the price tag of any player that we're linked with, because we've shown that we've got the money. However, the clubs also need to look at it from a perspective of, oh, you know what? We can cash in on him now, but if he has a poor season, we might only sell him for 30 million next year. Then what? So it's a weird kind of strike under the balance kind of thing, but 100%. We got LFC Aaron saying, Jerry, would you prefer us to sign 2 DMs or a DM and a centre back? The latter, in my opinion. Ooh, do you guys see a world that this is what I would say to that? Do you guys see a world where Robbo's actually benched for a significant amount of time, where we go and play with a left centre back? I personally don't see it, and I know people would like to see it, and I would love to see it as well. I just don't see that from Liverpool. I think Robbo's still got that one season in him, so I just don't see that happening. So for me, I'd go with an 8 and a 6. I'll go with another midfielder and a 6, because our bench did look really, really, really thin. We got here Sanele, big up to Sanele, saying, Jerry, how about we sign Sangare from PSV, Luis from Benfica, and Schurz from Torino? All very good, viable options. Whether we do that, I'm not too sure. I think that's a lot of work, and I don't know whether Liverpool have done the groundwork on these players. Yet again, really, really good players, but we're not too sure. Don't worry, I can see you guys asking for stats to some players. We're definitely going to go and have a look at them. Just need to get through these comments. We've got Thuram and Kone, 35 million euros each. Kupo Mac, 30 million release clause, and club captain and Tar cash swap plus Matip. Alonso may do us a favor there. Maybe so. I do think that the release clause is for I don't think Thuram has a release clause, and I don't think Kone does either. I think we'd be paying around 40 million minimum for one, if not two. So 100%. Anfield Roden saying, imagine Edward/Wood being told we ain't getting Bruno, Guimaraes, and Ender because we have Hendo, Millie, and Genie. No wonder them man left. Listen, yeah, we're not even going to get into that because I'll probably lose my mind. But look, without further ado, we're going to go and obviously get into it now. I think obviously this is, I really wanted to do this with you guys. I'm going to go out and get, what am I doing? Hold on, I need to do this again. 2 seconds, people. Did I make a muck of things? Perfect. Hold on. Is the stats there the same? Cool. Yeah, we are now going to obviously take out Khephren Thuram, and we're going to put in the main man, Manu Kone, Kone, who he's another one, been linked for such a long time with Liverpool. Yet it just seems as though, nothing really materialized on that front. So we're going to have to go and have a look at that right now. Guys, make sure there's almost 200 people in the building. Make sure we are smashing a like. That will be hugely appreciated. And for anyone that's new, please subscribe if you like me just waffling on and chatting rubbish about LFC from, someone that is a bozo, essentially doesn't know anything, then please make sure we are smashing the like. Hugely appreciated. And obviously subscribing if you're new to the channel, man. As we're seeing here, people, and you guys can see this, Lavia's now going to be on the left, and we've got Kone on the right. Again, just to emphasize to you guys, these stats are averaged out per 90. So some stats will be skewed because they'll be averaged out across a 90-minute game, because that's how we're going to look at it. I think that's much more fair than looking at it in total, because as we're seeing here, Kone played one more game. So in that one game, we could have accumulated more stats, if that makes sense. But as we're seeing here, again, goals per game, 0.1 each. Chances created per 90, 0.7 each again. Really interesting here, though. Really interesting here. Way more passes attempted by Kone. Lavia attempting 40. We're looking at 46.7. And remember, this is a player that did play in a more similar position to Romeo Lavia, Dan, Khephren, Thuram. Although Kone can play as an 8, he did play a lot of his time last season as one of the 6s in a double pivot. That's going to be very interesting to go and have a look at, because Romeo Lavia and Kone both played in double pivots last season. Lavia, obviously, Ward-Prowse, and Kone with, I want to say, not Bender. I forgot the guy's name. I don't want to go in. Don't misquote me. Don't quote me on that. But as you guys know, he played with a double pivot. As we're seeing here, through balls attempted, we're looking at 0.3 for Lavia and 0.1 for Kone. So not that big of a difference. We're talking about 0.2 through balls attempted, which is like essentially nothing per game. Forward passes, Kone really trumping Lavia here, looking at 15.4 forward passes a game. Backwards passes, the ratio is quite similar, but just at a higher level and completing more of them, we can see 7.5 backwards passes for Kone in comparison to 6.3 for Lavia, really showing that Kone does come really deep to get the ball. Sideways passes, really similar, looking at 23.9. Again, the take on success, and this is where Lavia really thrives. His take on success is 70%, well, at 69.77%. Kone is, it isn't too far off, but it isn't at that level. You're looking at 61.22%. But we have to remember, is that something that Klopp would like? Is that something that Klopp's looking at? Really interesting. Aerial duels are very similar. 0.4 in favor, obviously 0.4 for Lavia, and 0.6 in favor of Kone. But that stat, the ground duels contested is really impressive for Kone, though. Really impressive. And as we're seeing here, although, I mean, yes, he is obviously older than Lavia. 12.7 ground duels to 9.7. That is a massive difference, especially on the defensive end. Winning 7.2 of those ground duels to Lavia's 5.6. Per game, the clearances, again, very similar, 0.7 clearances. So essentially averaging out at 1 clearance per game each, even though Lavia's ahead on that metric. Interceptions per game, 1.4 to 1.1 in favor of Lavia, and blocks very similar again, 0.5 blocks per 90, so half a block per 90. So stats wise, really interesting. Again, just to summarize, the passing nature, the ability to get on the ball. He is in the mold, looking at this here, of a Genie Wijnaldum, and it's going to be really interesting to see if we make any ground on this type of player. Just looking at the stats, I do believe, people, that is someone that I would want to go and have personally. I think Kone shows that he's the right profile of player, has played in a double pivot, can also play in the 8, and has shown that he can get on the ball a lot. And I think we're going to need a lot of players to be able to go and do that, as well as run, of course. And look, if I'm being honest, either Khephren, Thuram, or Kone, I'd love to have both, but either of them I think would be fantastic additions. So it's definitely something to obviously go and look at. Sultan Al-Rani saying Kone is better. 100%, but you have to remember, if you're looking at that, I understand your point 100%, but they are playing in different positions. If you're comparing Kone to Ram, or they do play varying roles at their teams, so that's something to go and look at. However, Lavia versus obviously Kone, I think that's something that's quite interesting, really interesting. I think looking at the stats, I think Kone does look the better player. I think the only issue that we would have at Liverpool is that we're still trying to fulfill our homegrown quota, and I think that's where we're in the mud a bit. If we look at, the players we're banking on staying, the likes of Henderson, Milner that have just left, obviously having Jones in the team, Elliott, wanting to go for a Bellingham, and then going for a Lavia. They are all players that fulfill that homegrown quota. These players don't. The other players don't. And that's obviously the issue that we will go and have. What's this? Is this any news to do with Liverpool? Oh, no, it's not. Jesus. got worried for a bit. Thunder Road saying close to 200 watching and less than 50 likes. Hold on. Who in the chat, or who watching is trying to treat me like Liverpool? I know I support Liverpool, I get it. But don't treat me like my name's Billy Hogan, or like my name's Schmatka. I'm no Schmatka. I'm not getting done for this. You're not using me, you're not playing me. So guys, please make sure we are smashing the like Please, it's hugely appreciated. I always have a target, and I know it's mad outlandish. I can see like 200 people in the thing. I want minimum 200 likes. It should be that simple. And if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Twitch, just head over to YouTube and just click the notification button, man. Click the notification button, click the like button, please. Jude Gillingham saying, is it me or does Kone rhyme with Sadio Mane? I mean, Kone and Mane doesn't rhyme, but they have a similar suffix. I get you. Oh, there we go, man. There we go. You know what? I got a shout out to Angel, man. Angel, because he's releasing some gems. Has anyone watched Carlos Baleba? Carlos Baleba, the guy, the heir apparent, supposedly for Brighton, the heir apparent to Caicedo, the one to come in and take over that Caicedo role. He's the guy I was talking about. Don't know a lot on him. Have not even decided to watch a clip of him because I really wanted to look at the stats with you guys. And I wanted some of you guys to let me know about this player. I know a lot of you guys are proper invested in these players. So I'd love to go and obviously see this. That's the next player we're actually going to get at. So please, some of you guys maybe have a look whilst this is on, maybe on your phones, have a look at the clips whilst we're talking about the stats and let us know, does the eye test match the stats? Is that something that you're looking at? Is that someone that impresses you? Obviously, we don't know at this point, but listen, beggars can't be choosers at this moment in time. We've got Bear saying Kone is injury prone. That's another Keita in disguise. Is that what we're saying? That Keita is another thing in disguise? It's weird though. Is Keita? Hold on 2 seconds. Is Keita? I know Keita's injury prone, but is Kone injury prone or did he just have an injury? Like, I'm not sure. Let me know, people. Let me know. Ernie Copite saying Kone is more like a deep line playmaker. Yeah. In that regard, I hear what you're saying. Bear saying John Henry promised Klopp he will get all the players he wants before season starts, according to Paul Joyce. Yeah, well, he did get the players that he wanted. Question is, what player did we want? Did we want Lavia or were we just mucking about? That's what doesn't make sense to me. Abu Bakr, Jibril, we got to Abu Bakr saying we can actually get to the two players at the same time, Kone and Thuram. Big up to Jamie Phillips as well in the building. Big up to the main man. I hope you're doing well. Came up saying Kone isn't a DM. We don't need any more eights, but you can play as a DM. We got Red Scout TV saying, Jerry, I left you a tag on Twitter. He is good, bro. 14 mil. Let me see this tag on Twitter then. Let's just go have a look at this tag on Twitter right now as we're talking. Liverpool interested in Tyler Adams, but face. Oh, okay. Is that what you're doing to me right now? Is that what you're doing to me, Red Scout? Crazy. Let's go. Anyway, yeah, we've seen that anyway, people. But now we're going to be looking at Carlos Baleba. Let's just go and have a summary about Carlos Baleba. Who is Carlos Baleba? Let's go have a look because Carlos Baleba is the new talk. In town. Carlos Noum Kwoma Baleba, born in 2004, 19 years of age, the Cameroonian, playing for Lille at the moment. Great player, as we're seeing here, and this is reported from Fabrizio Romano. Brighton opening bid for Carlos Baleba was 17 million plus 3 million add-ons, and this is 3 million euros, and 17 million euros. Not enough to convince Lille, as French club won't want around 30 million euros to make the deal happen. Negotiations continue. Brighton consider Baleba the perfect replacement for Caicedo. There are two more names on the list that we're not going to discuss at this moment in time, as we're seeing here. And if we go and have a look at transfer marks, yeah, let's go and have a look. Carlos Baleba, as we're seeing here, centre mid position. His current market value is at 5 million. So listen, the prices for DMs in general have increased dramatically. He played 61 minutes in his first game the first game this season against, what was this against? It wasn't against Nantes. Who was this against? Anyway, they're facing Nantes next. Who was this against? It's not going to tell me. Against Nice, in fact. Against Nice. And Nice drew 1-1 with Lille. He played in a DM position, played 61 minutes. And yeah, decent outing for a 19-year-old. That's really, really obviously good to see. Picked up obviously no yellow cards. Yes, standard situation. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look and see Carlos Baleba, and I want to compare him to Lavia and see what are we saying, because and then what we're going to do is actually compare Baleba to Caicedo. If Brighton are interested in getting this player, a lot of content creators have spoken about the fact that Liverpool aren't going direct to source. They're waiting for a Brighton to pick up a player for him to have a good season, and then we're paying a premium because he's had a good season and paying for the scouting work that essentially Brighton and teams lower down the leagues have obviously gone and completed. Going and getting Baleba, is that something that we'd like to go and do? And obviously we're going to look at the stats, so that might give us a more informed, or allow us to make a more informed decision. But is that the route that we want to go down? Looking at the South American market, looking at the French market, and picking up these players that are unknown entities but might become something. Is that how people want to go and see us moving? Let's go and slap this name in here. There we go, Carlos Baleba, 2022-23. Amazing. Going to share the stream with you right now, people. Guys, make sure we are smashing a like. Cool. As we see here, people, this is from last season. So as we're seeing, Carlos Baleba played 10 less games than Romeo Lavia, and I played it in the French league. However, he is younger. He has just turned 19. So he was playing in Liga at a younger age. So obviously we're seeing here the minutes are going to be averaged out. As we're seeing here, 0.7 chances created for Lavia with 0.4 for Carlos Baleba. We're seeing here passes attempted, 57 passes attempted for Carlos Baleba, more than for Lavia. So really, really interesting there. In less games, actually attempted more per 90. Through balls attempted, 0 through balls attempted is looking like, where it's 0.3 for Lavia, so not that much. Forward passes, really, really similar, people. Really similar. We're looking here at 11.4 to 10.6. Bear in mind, it's averaged out per 90, but Carlos Baleba's played less games and he's younger. We're looking here, and backwards passes, really, really interesting to go and see. 14.6 to Romeo Lavia's 6.3 per game. So Carlos Baleba's really getting on the ball. Looking at sideways passes, we're looking at 32 to 22.4 in favor of Carlos Baleba. Again, take on success being a massive that factor in Romeo Lavia's game. I think it's what makes him really, really unique. Reminds me a lot of Moussa Dembele at Tottenham. Hence why I'm really worried with what Pochettino's going to do with him now that it seems as though he's going there. But look, not too far away at 62.5 for Carlos Baleba. Winning more aerial duels, so 1.4 aerial duels in comparison to Romeo Lavia. Ground duels contested. This is incredible. 9.7 to 17.2 in favor of Carlos Baleba. Wow. Looking at ground duels winning 8.8 ground duels to Romeo Lavia's 5.6. And then we're looking here, clearances. 1 clearance to 0.6, really similar. More interceptions for Romeo Lavia, but slightly better blocks for Carlos Baleba. And this is obviously a player that's still developing, still in the early stages of his development. But you're seeing why Brighton are so shrewd in this market. So shrewd in this market. I didn't know who this was, and I know I'm looking at the stats, and I know I guarantee you, I can't see what you guys are saying, but I guarantee you guys are stunned at the moment. You know, it's valued at 5 million. They're looking. Lille are looking for 30 million euros, of course, because they know Brighton have also got 150 million for Caicedo. That might be a punt at 30 million. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to lie to you people. Let me go back and, oh, that ban's there. That's annoying. But I'm not going to lie to you people. If we just go back and have a look again, I mean, the passing, and bear in mind, he's a DM. The passing, the aerial duels won, the duels contested 17.2 to 9.7. That is massive. That is massive. So, guys, maybe we stumbled on something there, man. Maybe we stumbled on something there. Maybe some of you guys are right. Maybe we do go in for a Carlos Baleba. Maybe that's the type of guy that we go and look at. Shout out to MP saying passing is sideways and backwards. Also making a lot of forward passing, and we need someone to keep the ball. Our problem in the game against Chelsea was the fact that we kept giving the ball away. It kept being route one, going over the top, into space. How many times did McAllister make a forward pass and misplace it? Yeah, he made a lot of good forward passes. How many times did he misplace it? How many times did Robbo misplace a pass? Did Trent misplace a pass? Gakpo in midfield. Having someone in there that can go and keep the ball is crucial. You don't always need someone to try break the lines. You do need a player like that in your midfield. And although we had McAllister doing that, we also required McAllister to be quite incisive. Because Soberslai's doing a lot of running around, and you've got Gakpo that's not really a number 8. I think that's definitely someone we could go and get. And now I agree. And big up to Zayn. This is 100% true. Is that for where Liverpool are, if he's the mainstay in a DM at that age, it is a bit crazy. It would be a bit crazy. But we'd have to take gambles right now. I know in an ideal world, you'd love a Paino alongside him and we can rotate them and stuff. We're not in a situation like that right now. Any player that we get now, if we're paying 30, 40 million, you're a starter. You're a starter at Liverpool in a DM position. Or you're definitely an option that we're going to be going and looking at. And I think Paino would block his entry into that. Jay saying Klopp won't take risks, Jerry. He's too shook and just wants his own targets. 100% he does. That's why I do think, although I wanted to talk about this target, and I think it was really, really interesting to do so, I do think we're going to just go in for the likes of a Khephren, Thuram, Kone. Decore looks like he's a bit too expensive. I don't know who else is out there, really. I know there's the likes of, obviously, Andre Trinidad and we'll have a look at Andre Trinidad in a sec. But as you can see, really, 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 really good stats, man. Really good stats from Carlos. I'm gonna call him Carlos. Big up to Jamrock. Jamrock saying we have already scouted him from last season and earlier this season. Have a word with the coaching staff and recruitment team. Is this with Carlos? Interesting. Elsa Pereira, big up to Elsa, saying Matheus Nunes was unreal last night. Really, really good player. You can see why Liverpool were interested. Yet again, we didn't go and do that, man. Yet again, we didn't go and do that. Yeah, really, really, really interesting, that one. Gucci'd up saying I'm behind on the vid. Kone stats look good. Get him ASAP. Yeah, if you guys are behind, guys, make sure we're actually looking at that as well. Jamrock saying, yes, Jerry, with Carlos. Interesting. Zane saying, Jerry, I saw transfer marks say linked with Ladislav Krejci. I don't know who that is. And maybe we are, but I can't see Liverpool getting this, man. Wiggs saying, look, can we only sign one foreign player? I may be wrong. I'm not going to lie to you people. I'm not even too sure. I know we need the homegrown issue. Like the homegrown situation is an issue, but I don't know. I'm not too sure. I'm just not too sure, man. I'm not too sure. Yeah, by popular demand. What I'm going to do now is remove Carlos Baleba who, according to Jam, Liverpool have actually been linked with and interested in, which is really, really interesting. So our scouting department must be decent. That Excel files must be excelling with just not really acting, not really being proactive in the market, not really looking to invest. So it's really interesting. But yeah, a lot of you guys want to look at Andre, right? Let's go have a look at Andre, man. Oh, Trini. Andre. Trini. Hopefully I can find him, people. Oh, I need to copy and paste his name because it don't seem like I'm even gonna find this man. Andre Trinidad, yeah. That damn accents they always do this, man. There we go. Let's go have a look, man. See what this guy's saying. Cool. We're gonna compare this one to Lavia as well. Get this up for you guys now. Quick one here, Mr. Drift saying it's 2 non-homegrown players, not 3. Okay, I understand. Wig saying Zubimendi has a 60 million release clause as well. Check his stats. Listen, guys, I wish I could check everyone's stats. I wish I could just run through it and check everyone's stats. We can't do that because A, we haven't got enough time, and B, I'm only going to focus on the players that Liverpool are actually linked with. I think Zubimendi, we've been speaking about for a long time, but Liverpool haven't actually been linked with him. It's like I really like there's Zubimendi, there's a couple of players I like. I'm not even going to even get into it, but you know, we can't do that. So look, yeah, just bear with me, people. I'm trying to get through a lot of these guys, man. So guys, please, for my efforts, please make sure we're smashing a like. I expect to see 300 likes off the bat. Crazy, but yeah, you guys can see this now. Obviously, we're comparing Romeo Lavia to Andre. I think they're very, very similar players. I don't really the Caicedo thing. I don't even want to look at because Caicedo was like a last-minute thing that we went into, and we know what type of play he is anyway. As we're seeing here, this is obviously Andre's stats from his last season. This is Lavia's. Again, more chances are obviously created for Andre, 0.9 to 0.7, but it's not by a massive margin. He's getting loads of the ball though. Like Andre's getting loads of the ball. So that's where we've got to be really kind of careful. Lavia's creating 0.7 chances with 40 passes. Andre's creating 0.9 chances with like 73 passes per 90. That's a lot. And only making 2 through balls. 0.3 through balls for Lavia. Obviously, loads of passes for Andre. I think we have to remember as well, this is the Brazilian league. He's playing for Fluminense, one of the better teams in Brazil as well. But still, really, really good stats. You can only play who you're facing. You know what I mean, at the end of the day, 20.5 forward passes to Lavia's 11.4, 8.5 backwards passes to Lavia's 6.3, and 44 sideways passes to Romeo Lavia's 22.4. Take on success, and this is the first player I've gone and seen that's actually had a better take on success than Romeo Lavia, and it's come from Andre with 73% take on success in comparison to Lavia's 69.7. So just shading it. Aerial duels won very similar, 0.4 and 0.3 respectively. Ground duels contested, 9.7 for Lavia, but very similar for Andre with 9.3. They're winning the same, roughly the same amount of ground duels with 5.6 and 5.4 each. 1 clearance each on average. 1.4 interceptions for Lavia and 1.1 for Andre, and 0.5 blocks for Lavia with 0.4 for Andre. So look, very, very similar players, and I think A lot of people were kind of discussing when these links first came about. Are we going for Lavia? Are we going for Andre? Like, Lavia deal was stalling and the Andre links emerged. I think it's either or. I don't think Liverpool were ever going to go and get Lavia and Andre. I think they're too similar. Looking at these stats and just looking at the way they play, I think they're very, very similar in how they play. Whether Andre can do it in the Premier League, we're not too sure yet. But look, we need to just take a gamble potentially, man. Take a gamble. Yeah, Elias saying, don't forget to put in Florentino Luis and Doucouré to Caicedo and Lavia. If we get Carlos, send him to loan to Brighton. We have a link with Doucouré and Florentino Luis. Yeah, I'll definitely look at Doucouré. I think we've done that before, and Doucouré's weren't great. But yeah, Jamrock saying Andre Trinidad is more of a Thiago replacement. Yeah, but I think Thiago is going to be replaced anyway. I don't think in the way that we were going to go and play, I think McAllister is the Thiago replacement. McAllister, like, even though Andre might be the replacement for Thiago, if Thiago was to come in, I don't think Liverpool were ever in a situation where they were going to get Lavia and Trinidad. I think they're too similar. I think if you're going to get Lavia, you're better off trying to get a different profile player. But that's just my opinion from what I've gone and seen. Graham saying Florentino Luis has an 100 million release clause, so I'd go for him personally. For 100 million, I'm not too sure, guys. I'm not too sure, guys, man. Jamrock saying they don't care about them nerd stat guys. Klopp is the reason for most of the success. Who don't care about that? Let me see. Like, maybe it's from this. Hey Jerry, Tony Bloom's Star Lizard footballing database was based on the former data guy Ian Graham, who FSG bought his company when they came to Liverpool. But them said they don't care about the nerd stat guys. Klopp is the reason for most of the success. Yeah, I agree 100%. I think people, and I'm going to say a statement, yeah, that, you know what, I'm actually going to create into it might be created into a YouTube Shorts. I'm going to try to get into that game and slap it on TikTok and stuff. Klopp has benefited from FSG being at the club, and it's not FSG, it's not John Henry himself, the owner, it's the structure that was in place. Because a lot of our signings wouldn't have gone on to be that good had it not been for the database and being able to go and look at the stats and metrics properly and apply them into a Liverpool team. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not saying Klopp hasn't done well with the resources and stuff, but Michael Edwards done well with resources as well. We're forgetting that he was able to go and get 30 million for Brewster, crazy prices like that, 20 million for Jordan Ibe, mad amounts of money for players that didn't ever do anything in a Liverpool shirt, ever. Whilst also going and capitalising on, do you know what I mean, whether it's release clauses and deals and negotiating to the nth degree. Michael Edwards has gone, Ian Graham, a lot of the backroom stuff, and now we're in the situation that we're at. And I think a lot of us, because of the way we do things, we've actually tried to kind of like neglect stats a lot. And that's why I always bring up stats. Stats never lie. Stats never lie. You can misinterpret stats. You can not read stats correctly, but stats are so important. And I think Klopp's been a massive beneficiary of that system that FSG put in place. And as a result, I think he backs FSG. And I think that's why he goes and protects FSG when he shouldn't do at times. Because he knows that he's benefited a lot from that. It's like, you know, a Milner, no matter what, will never say anything about Klopp because he knows that Klopp's benefited his career. So will Henderson. No matter what conversations they've had and what arguments, and he won't ever have a bad word to say about him because he has the respect for that. I think that's that's the dynamic that Klopp has with FSG. 100%. Because the fact that we're having to do this now, we're like, why can't we be more like Brighton? Remember, once upon a time, we were that Brighton. We were signing players that no one wanted, really. Why are we getting him? Who's Bobby? Yeah, he's right in the German league, but who is he? Even the little cogs that didn't work out. Yeah, you're getting Lallana, but all right, we get Lallana, cool. Why are we getting Robertson though? So many little things, man. So many little things. So 100%, man. 100%. We got Jaw saying, for the club long term, is a sporting director more important than a manager? 100%, 100%, 100%. It's as if I told you what's more important, having a really good teacher in a school that teaches the kids or having a head teacher that's on point. Yes, on a surface level, the teacher's very, very important. 100% is very, very important because that's the day-to-day work that she does with the kids, and 100% it makes a lot of sense. But if the head teacher, if the leadership's poor, if the structure, if the organization is poor, then it doesn't matter what that teacher does. It doesn't matter what the teacher does, and that's just my opinion on that, man. That's just my opinion. Ladham is saying, not on a rule though, Liverpool should go and slap 50 M's down for Onana. He's a perfect Klopp type of player. He is, but he plays for Everton. And I just don't see that happening, man. I just don't see that happening. Jude gelling and build up to Jude saying, you guys have shown you have 110 M's. It definitely buys you Kimmich valued at 60 to 70 M's, and all of a sudden you're in the title race. If he wants to join, though. If he wants to join. Yeah. Next thing we're going to go and do, people, by popular demand, let's go back into it, is you guys wanted to go and have a look at Florentino Luis, yeah? The guy that I'm not convinced about, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not convinced about. Is it Florentino? Is that it's going to come up as? There it is, Florentino. Cool. 1920. Oh, come on, man. Not the Champions League. Cool. Boom, boom. Let's go. Guys, please make sure we are smashing a like, man. I'll be hugely, hugely appreciated to go and have a look. Romeo Lavia, comparing him to Florentino Luis. These are the players obviously going to play in the DM, and I'm focusing on Lavia because that's the player that we're linked with the most in that DM role. Let's just be honest. It's the guy we actually paid 60 million for and still didn't get the player. Caicedo, I'm not going to have a look at. There's no point. There's no point. Just it hurting ourselves more than that. Florentino. So let's go. He's played 33 more games. Let's have a look. 0.1 goals. So Lavia wins on that chance. Chances created is higher than Lavia. Passes attempted is huge. You're talking about almost double people. So he's attempting more passes. But yet again, he's only making 0.1. He's only creating 0.1 more chances. So it begs the question, why is he getting on the ball so much? Is it because Benfica haven't really got anyone like that? But interesting. 80 passes almost, but what? 0.1 through balls attempted. Lavia is making 0.3 attempt with half the amount of passes. So not really effective in possession, it's looking like. However, as we said, getting a lot of the ball and trumping Lavia on passes. Forward passes with 24.1 to 11.4. Backwards passes 8.8 for Fiorentino with 6.3 for Lavia. Sideways passes 45.3 to 22.4. The take on success is 72.2%. So very high. Again, the second player we've gone and seen now, which is quite rare. So it was obviously Carlos, Bampello, and Florentino that have beaten Lavia when it comes to take on success. So he's quite a good ball carrier. I'm going to have a look at him a bit more. Winning more aerial duels. That's really, really good to see. 1.6 to 0.4. He's contesting in less ground duels, though. He's not really getting about the pitch like that in the same way Lavia is, with 9.7 to 7.3. 4.4 ground duels, 1 to Lavia's 5.6. However, he's making more clearances per 90 with 1.2 to 1, so not that big of a difference. And interceptions is crazy. 2.7 interceptions to 1.4 interceptions. That's a massive stat to go and look at. So he's looked really good at interceptions. Blocks, he's not the greatest at. Good at aerial duels and obviously passing a lot and obviously the take on success. But yeah, again, very, very similar. And I think we can see why we're going and looking at a player like that. Interested to see what you guys have to go and obviously go in and say. K-Mac, obviously a massive fan, saying that this guy is the best on the market who has a release clause. He's a fab regen. Fair enough. We've got Jimmy Starr in the building saying it's not FSG or Schmatka's fault. Schmatka wanted both Thuram and Kone, and Klopp didn't go for it. He wanted Caicedo and Lavia. Jimmy Star going on to say, look, Klopp is the problem. And with all the info coming out about turning down Enzo and Bruno Guimaraes and others, the culprit is finally uncovered. Don't be fooled. Definitely something to have a discussion about, man. Definitely. And listen, in my group chats, in the just not only here, and I love discussing with you guys, but we're getting a lot of information and people are disgruntled, man. Behind the scenes, people are disgruntled. So I'm not surprised. We've got Streets Approved Thames saying Jerry, but Jerry Rodri also gets on the ball a lot, but doesn't play through balls or create much. Rodri creates a hell of a lot. Streets Approved Thames. Like Rodri, if we could have a Rodri, I think we'd be set. As in, he's that good. He's that good. Scores goals, creates assists, gets into the box, cleans up danger. Also, he can pick up the ball. He's an all-round midfielder. I think he's playing as a DM. I think he's that good. We're looking here at Sultan as well. Saying watch his game against PSG, he was phenomenal. That's in regards to Florentino Luis. I'll definitely have a look at that. We got High Pixel Clips. Big up to High Pixel Clips, saying it's obviously the window we need a DM for. Now I say we use Bajcetic till we bring in a DM. We have the money to bring in a player like Kimmich, as it's shown with the bid for Caicedo. I mean, look, we've got the money. 100% we've got the money. We've got the money to go and spend big. The problem is, do we value a Kimmich at 100? That's the way we're going to go and look at it. It's like Liverpool would have had the money to go and get a Casemiro the same way United did. But we just didn't want to go and do that. We didn't want to go and put down the money. Man. We got CNF saying, I used to pray for times like this. Yeah, not times like this, though. Not times like this. But do you know what it is? I've got to take the L, man. I've got to take the L. What can I do? I'm sincere. I took the L. I wasn't as bad as Cal. I wasn't saying FSG in for life and all of them things there. Still a bit wary, but I got caught, man. I got caught. Say it is what it is. I got to take it on their chin and firm it. We got Biz Whitegash saying, what Klopp done is history now. I have doubts Klopp will win another Premier League or Champions League with Liverpool. For anyone that's been here from the beginning, yeah, I'm not going to speak these words anymore. But let the people know what my prediction was 2 seasons ago now. Let the people know. Beginning of the last season. CNF saying, you're famous, man. Congrats. Do you know what it is? I'm not even famous, yeah? But do you know what was really embarrassing? Is I went to work the other day and a brother was just standing next to me and was like, Caicedo. And I was like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Like, yeah? Like, what do you mean Caicedo? Obviously, I'm in my mind, I'm really fuming about the whole situation, right? And then he goes, yeah, I saw you on that video on Twitter still, like Caicedo and that. But yeah, I rate your thing about the Caicedo. And I was like, yeah, man, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Jamrock saying, I remember what you said on Kopish. That's what it is. So I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying it anymore because otherwise I'm a hater, but it is what it is. If you know, you know. And if you don't, check the tapes. Head over to Kopish, head over to my channel. It's, do you know what I mean? If you know, you know. Jude Jelling was saying, LFC must hijack the Amrabat deal now. You have 2 choices. Either pay the release clause for players to avoid overpaying clubs during negotiation or Amrabat for 25 M's. He doesn't even want to come to us, though. He doesn't want to come. That's the problem. Ernie Quapipe, big up to Ernie, saying, we also don't know who rejected Fernandez, but we know that there was no funds for a signing because we ended up loaning Arthur. Yeah, bro. We ended up owning Arthur, man. That's what happened. We got Daniel Durian as well. Big up to Durian saying, Bruno Guimaraes' new deal is dragging on for too long now. Surely we should try at least. We should at least try. That money would help Newcastle significantly with FFP. And they also brought in Tonali. Newcastle are fine with FFP. They're fine. They're not getting rid of Bruno Guimaraes, especially first season in the Champions League. Bear in mind, Bruno Guimaraes wants to play in the Champions League. That's just never going to happen. That's never going to happen, man. We got Elsa Pereira saying Lovro Maya. Yeah, you're like Ram. You like these Croatian brothers. Yeah, they're decent. We got Graham saying hit the like, only takes a few seconds. Guys, please make sure we are hitting a like. Let me see. Let me have a look because I haven't done this in a long time, right? Hold on. Let me have this. Let's have a look at what you man are saying because I'm gonna have a look on YouTube. I want to see the like count. I need to be mad in the wear because you guys, we got 100 and we got 113. Yeah, I don't know. It's a sticky one still. I was expecting 300, but here's what it is, guys. Yeah, guys, please make sure we are smashing a like, of course. Ladam is saying here, what about Zambo and Anguissa? Do it is Zambo and Anguissa is good, but again, man, I just don't. Napoli are gonna take the mick. Napoli would take the mick. And when he was at Fulham, man weren't rating him like that. So, Sultan saying, high pixel clips. He's not my first choice, but Payne is. Will end up with Dewsbury Hall on loan. I'll be frank saying, can you check Spearing stats realistically? That's what's going to happen. Now, I wish I could check Spearing stats, but he hasn't played in such a long time. It is crazy. GTV in the building. Big up to GTV saying Yusuf Fofana and done. We done Yusuf Fofana, so we done that one. We done that one. Yusuf Fofana is the guy. Stat-wise, 100%. Jude Gilling saying, I honestly think you'd make a better sporting director of transfers than whoever LFC has at the moment. How do these clowns earn 7-figure salaries to do a shoddy job? All I'm saying is, people, if you go and see me doing something like that, yeah, and seeing a picture of me with my glasses, do you know what I mean, receding hairline, going grey, and I'm like this at a football ground, like to the side, greyed out, blacked out, white. It's like this guy's been appointed. Just know you guys were the reason for it, man. You guys were the reason for it. Tian Sauerman, big up to Tian, saying Salah moving. I'm not even going to entertain that because the last time I was going to do anything, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. The last time, if Salah moving, the only thing Salah should be moving is this, bro. Yeah, man, it's the only thing Salah should be moving, bro. The only thing Salah should be moving. Only thing Salah should be moving. So he ain't moving anywhere, bro. Like right now, he ain't moving anywhere. I'm not trying to have it at all. Jared, you see what I mean? Salah isn't moving. Who's like? They must be talking about this, bro. Do you know what I mean? Pre-season, Salah felt a bit comfy and was like, "Yeah, Lord of mercy, am I gonna move my hips and that?" You know them things there. So yeah, man, that's the only thing Salah's moving. Big up to Arbs saying that we need to get players like this before we need to get players like Baleba before they go to Brighton. 100%, we do. But that's what a lot of you guys were looking at. That's why I really wanted to look at Baleba, man. 100%. Hype Pixel saying, I think we need a cover right back, push Trent into midfield and get a DM, and also get someone to challenge Robert as he saw against Chelsea. He's slowing down. We've got cover for Trent for Robbo though. It's Tsimikas, and I know unless we get rid of Tsimikas, it's going to be Tsimikas. I agree with getting a right back. The problem is, who is that right back? Who is that right back? I'm not too sure, man. I'm not sure. We've got Erica Ruth creasing, saying my eyes. Listen, Erica, I'm telling you, man. Listen, if you're new to the channel, the banter we've had on here, the clips that we've got are crazy, man. Are crazy, absolutely crazy. But it look good to obviously see new faces in it all the time. Hold on, did I not slap anything in there? 2 seconds. There we go. Cool. Yeah. Have a look at more. Hugh Wright saying maybe that right back is Pavard. Maybe, but we're not getting him. Carl Walker-Peters, maybe so. Is he in the Championship still? Has no one gone in for him? It's really interesting if you don't go anywhere. Really interesting. I think he's a good player. Eddie saying Dewsbury Hall on loan, killing me, bruv. Listen, we're going to get Dewsbury Hall on loan with an obligation to buy, bro. It's an obligation to buy. At the moment, that's what we're going to have to go and do. Jay Kismet saying Onana from Everton is top quality, 100%. When it happened last year, like when that signing happened, me and Roms actually came on there and we're like, oh, we wanted that player, but it just didn't work out, man. It just didn't work out. Yeah, there's so many clips, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. After doing this, I feel a bit better. Like, we know that there's options here, but I'm looking at this whole situation, man, and I'm just like, I'm actually fuming. I'm actually fuming. Jay Kismet saying, question, JJ, do you trust players with 3 names? What do you mean with 3 names? Well, like Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. You guys are dumb, man. I swear to God, you guys are dumb. And for us saying Matty Cash, maybe so. I like Matty Cash. He's my countryman, man. He's my countryman. Do you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, there's players, but I don't know what Liverpool are going to do. I just don't know what Liverpool are going to do. We've got Campos, that's on the same, singing off the same hymn sheet as G, saying Fofana for whatever the price. 100%. The last stat we're actually going to go and look at is Painha. That's the one we're actually going to go and do. It's the one that actually linked with. Let's go and have a look at Painha. Ooh, all right. These stats are going to be interesting, bro. Guys, make sure we are smashing the like. Mad. Appreciate everyone tuning in. This is brazy for me. Soon come the studio, innit? And all of that. So yeah, we're coming. We're coming for Terry and them man there. We're coming for the Redmen as well. We're coming for them. Great work, but yeah, man, we're coming. Lavia, again, comparing him to Jai Painha, played less games than Painha. Painha, obviously, similar amount of goals, but less chances created, less passes attempted, no through balls attempted. Forward passes, 10, very similar, 10 and 11.4, but in favour of Lavia. All the passes, to be fair, are in favour of Lavia. The take on success, again, in favour of Lavia with 55.88% to Lavia's almost 70%. So that's not a part of his game. However, from a defensive standpoint, I think that's why Lavia is an interesting player, is that he doesn't fit the mold of all the other midfielders that we've been looking at. As you've seen, they're very, very similar. The passing stats have been similar. The take-on stats have been similar. Even if it's like a 5 to 10% gap or difference, it hasn't been that great. And we obviously have to take into consideration they're playing for different teams. Jai Painha is the one that just is a standout. Like he's a completely different type of player. He's taller, he's bigger, he doesn't play as further forward, not as progressive, but we're seeing here. Aerial duels, 2.1 per 90 to Lavia 0.4. Ground duels contesting in 10.9. So more ground duels than Lavia and coming out with 6.3. So you're looking at, 60% or so. Ground duels percentage 1 in comparison to obviously Lavia's. He's making almost 2 clearances per game in comparison to 1, and similar amount of interceptions and not the same amount of blocks. So again, Painha, great player, a lot of experience. I love the player. I think he'd be a great option. However, I just don't see it happening, man. I just don't see it happening. Especially with him having that shoulder injury now, even though I think do you know what I mean? It's not that deep. We've got Alexander Delos saying he's 28 to 29 still. Yeah, he's 28, man. He's 28. KLFC saying Painha is the one we need. I think Painha is 28 and too expensive. Going on to say, look, I'd rather spend 20 million more on Florentino Luis. That's very, very fair. Yuvraj Dawali saying, I would say go with mostly South American players, as anything we do in the market is a gamble and a risk. Facts, man. Facts, 100%. RJ got a question saying, have Liverpool damaged their image with Caicedo and Lavia? Public rejections after bids and choosing Chelsea? Yes, that's a very, 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 very easy yes. So yes. We've got Biz White as well saying, it's not the issue which sporting director will Liverpool get in the future, but that sporting director has to work under Klopp. Klopp has too much power in the club, which is the real problem. I hear it. We got Arb saying Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, maybe he wants to leave and join Atletico Madrid, but he's cheap and a leader. He won't get roughed up by people either. I wouldn't mind him. I swear to God, me and Drifty actually just were debating it. Like, we're debating it hard. Drifty was getting mad. But yeah, man, he's the guy, man. I think Højbjerg, I'd be happy with Højbjerg right now at this moment in time. But it is what it is. We've got Yuvraj saying, swear Painha has a shoulder injury. Yeah, I just mentioned that. Big up to Sadiq Edwards saying, just get it done, LFC. You don't even care anymore. Sadiq at this point in time, just get it done. Just get it done. Play Sunday League and the ball comes in, you go, get it out. Just, get it out, man. Get it out. We've got Eddie saying 28 isn't really that bad. Sometimes you need to buy a player for right now, not one that can come in, and do a job right away. 100%. United did it, and they worked, man. Aladdin is saying, Matty Cash is your countryman. You're Polish. Yes, I am, man. I am on my mother's side. So, yes, I am. So I'm half that, half Ghanaian. So call me Kevin Prince Boateng and them, man. They, even though they're German and Russian as well. Also, praise is saying Fratesi as well. Fratesi is a very good midfielder. I just don't know if he's a DM. Liam Blumeris, big up to Liam, saying, why aren't we closing in on Inacio? If VVD or Konate get injured, we are thin. We're not thin because Klopp trusts Gomez and Matip. So it's not thin, man. It's not thin. Drew Jelling was saying, Jorginho has at Arsenal is available. He only has 1 year left on his contract. Jeez, we'd be in the mud if we tried to do that. The way we play open, like, yeah. But honestly, if we did that, this is how the league would be laughing at us.
Is he your superhero?
Yes.
We'd be the guy, yeah, that would ask me, so is Jorginho your hero? And we'd be like, yeah. Right now, all the memes are out, man. All the memes. Do you know what I mean? All the memes. It's crazy. Sadiq Edwardson, exactly. We've been made a joke. We're Banter FC. Never in my 37 years of supporting FC have I been so embarrassed to support this club. Facts, man. Facts. GTV, the way he laughed, that's something I do in a serious situation. Do you know what's mad, though? Do you know what the situation was? His son was talking to him about how he's sad because his friend got murdered in a school shooting. Do you know how mad that is? That's crazy. That's crazy, man. It's crazy. But yeah, people, man. Yeah, that's it for today. Obviously, appreciate everyone that's been rocking with me. Been rocking for an hour and 20 minutes. I had to get back and just do some work. Wildhead Wolf, big up to Wildhead, saying, Jerry, how's life? Head exploded yet? My head, you know what it is? It's not even exploded, man. It is what it is. But yeah, big up to obviously everyone in the building. Appreciate everyone tuning in into the building. Guys, again, I want to reiterate the memberships for the channel are now open. So listen, we're going to have loads of content. I've already spoken about it. Interviews with ex-pros, semi-pro players, current players as well that we're going to be able to get in. There's going to be different range of debates. We're actually going to have live shows as well. You're going to have access and early access to all of these types of stuff. Me and G actually looking to do a live show in October. Yes, very, very soon. We're looking to go and do that. So please make sure we're heading over there because you're going to know and you're going to have access to tickets and stuff like that very, 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 very early on, man. I wanted to obviously thank everyone for rocking with me as always. It's been the Jerry James Show and we are out. Subscribe if you're new to the channel. Take it easy.
Почему же хочешь шоколад, блин? Задумала, блин, мне нужен шоколад.